Agahon, coming to you live from Camellia, Aklan, in Numancia, Aklan in the Philippines. I'm having my morning cup of coffee here, coffee with Ginno, my Copico Blanca. Copico Blanca is 3-in-1 coffee here in the Philippines. It's coffee, cream, and sugar all in one. All you do is put the powder inside your cup and add hot water, and that's your cup of coffee already. And here in the Philippines, very popular. Almost everybody I know drinks 3-in-1 coffee. You can buy them at the grocery store, you can buy them at the sari-sari store, and they cost about 7 pesos each. So like for me, I buy 10 of these at Save More Grocery in Calibo. So about 70 pesos. So that's about $1.50 for like 10 cups of coffee. That's why it's a good deal, and it's easy to make, and it's actually tastes pretty good once you find the brand that you like. For me, I always I've tried many brands, but I really like Copico Blanca. I even saw there's even a 3-in-1 coffee now. Manny Pacquiao, a 3-in-1 coffee. I actually haven't tried it. Maybe I think I'll get a packet one day just to so that I can say that I tried Manny Pacquiao 3-in-1 coffee, because he like sponsors so many stuff here in the Philippines. Like the new battery on my car is Motolite. That's one of Manny Pacquiao's battery. You know, it's like I see him all across billboards here. Like even at the sari-sari store, you can. If I go to the sari-sari store now, there's a picture of Manny Pacquiao there drinking some kind of soda or something. He has a lot of advertisement marketing here in the Philippines. Make a lot of money in advertisement because he's still extremely popular here in the Philippines. Especially now, he's got a fight coming up this weekend. The 20th is his fight, so everybody's excited for that fight. I know the ABL, it's a sports complex here in Calibo. Usually they'll show, even though it's pay-per-view in the States, I'm sure somebody in the local LGU, the local government unit here, I'm sure somebody pays for the event, because I won't be surprised if they show it in like a big screen, the fight, and then there'll be people coming in there to watch the fight, because pretty much all of Manny Pacquiao's fights I've seen at the ABL. You know, every time I want to go to the ABL, and it's usually free to the public. Our province, even Calibo, just shuts down when it's Manny Pacquiao fight. You know, it's like he's still a big deal in the Philippines. A lot of Filipinos are still very proud of Manny's accomplishment, even though, you know, he's probably an underdog on this fight, because, you know, I think Manny's like 46, 45, 46, and he's fighting like a 29-year-old fighter. So that usually doesn't go well for the older guy, but we'll see. You know, it's like I know the whole country is always behind Manny Pacquiao. Let me know if it's raining outside right now and I have the window and the door open. Let me know if the rain bothers the live stream. I just like hearing the rain, and then the cool air. We don't get much cool air here in the Philippines, so I like getting the cool air and also the sound of the rain. You know, but if it bothers the live stream, please let me know, because I can close the door and I can close the window. I just like getting fresh air too in here. It's nice that it's cool this morning here. Yo, Tim C. All right, my good friend in Las Vegas. What's up? Speaking of the weather, that's always what I hit first, is the weather. And there's actually a tropical depression. So officially, that is the third weather a thing in the Philippines. Like they considered it a typhoon. A tropical depression is lower than a tropical storm, but to me they're all the same. They bring a lot of rain, they bring a lot of wind, causes flooding, causes landslides. So to me, They can call it tropical depression, tropical storm, low pressure. They can call it all kinds of names, but it is a system that's affecting the Philippine area of responsibility right now, and it's called the Tropical Depression Krising. Letter C, as in Charlie, because it's the third. It's the third typhoon type thing in the Philippines for 2025. They were actually expecting three this month of July, and so far there's two. So it's only today's, what's today? Today is 17th, so little over halfway through the month, but we still will probably get hit with another weather event before the month is over. That's why the Philippines usually averages about 18 to 20 typhoons a year. And like I said before, this is the third. This is the third typhoon. Its location is in east of Juban, Sorsogon, in the Bicol region, Central Luzon. That's where it's hitting. And today, it says here, cloudy skies with scattered rain and thunderstorms, tropical depression Krising for the Bicol region, Eastern Visayas, Isabela, Aurora, Quezon, and Dinagat Islands. And that's the area I always talk about. It's like with typhoons in the Philippines, it's always that trajectory. You know, it's like, that's why, and it's got a trend, like if it's hitting like the Bicol region, it's gonna go northwest. It's gonna keep climbing towards Cagayan. That's always like, it's amazing how I would say a good 75% of typhoons that hit the Philippines goes through that trajectory. Eastern Visayas, Bicol region, and Cagayan, Ilocos Norte area. They just get hammered. You know, I guess people are used to that weather though, because there's people that live there, and a lot of population in Bicol region. I know it's like one of the popular best regions in the Philippines because of Taal Volcano, Legazpi City, a lot of nice areas. But unfortunately, they just get hit with a lot of typhoons in that area. And here in Western Visayas, the rain today is not actually coming from the tropical depression Krising. It says here the rain that we're getting here actually is from the normal habagat. Habagat is a monsoon season, so we finally got rain. We haven't gotten rain, I would say, the past week, but this morning, when I got up this morning, rain, you know. So today I had to drive Leanna to school in our car because when it's raining, I can wear a jacket, I can wear a hoodie, and drive Bumblebee, but I still get wet, and I'm just getting over a cold. So I was like, I better just drive Leanna to school. So I decided to drive the car this morning. But usually I drive Bumblebee because it's easier. Especially now, I'll try to film it the next time when the weather's better. You'll see that before, when I drop Leanna off, I used to drop her off like on the elementary side of Numancia Integrated School. Now she's high school, so now she's like with the big kids. She's all the way to the other side of the school. I have to go through alleyways, get to the back of the school, so I can't drop her at the elementary area because I can, but she would have to walk a long walk, and with the rain. So it was a little struggle this morning because with the car, it's a tight street, and then there's tricycles going in different directions. So I tried to get Leanna as close to the entrance as possible. And she got a raincoat, and then she brought an umbrella. So I saw that she got into the gate. I kind of actually like how the school operates here because today they didn't do it, but I know when the weather is better, even at the gate, the guards check the kids, even their backpacks. They'll open their backpacks, they check, because you never know now with kids, especially even here in the Philippines. We're talking high school kids here, they're teenagers. And, so they're checking for anything, making sure that they're not bringing any contraband to the school. Charlie Letts. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Charlie. Thank you for joining the live stream. Appreciate you always joining the live stream, my brother. I'm actually drinking two things. I'm always drinking Pocari Sweat because when I get sick, I try to hydrate. And I usually hydrate with my Vita Coco, but I haven't been able to go to the store to buy it because it's not available here in Numancia. I have to go to Save More in Calibo and just the drive, I'm still trying to take it easy. But this, I can pick up at the 7-Eleven. That's where I got this morning. I got it from the 7-Eleven. So I try to hydrate, but I drink my 1 cup of coffee a day just to get me going. It's like, I think it's a habit. It's probably psychological that I think that if I drink my 1 cup, I have more energy, I'm more awake. Jimbo, all right. My good friend in Lipa City. Hey, brother, good to see you on the live stream, Jimbo. I hope you recovered. And I know you had some medical thing when you got back from Japan. Hope you're all healed up. It's like, I know how it is with sickness, man. Like even me, even the cold, I take it easy. It's like since Sunday and then now it's Thursday, I've been taking it easy because it's not the same. I don't recover fast from even a simple cold. Cloudy, yes, same here. I got the door open here. I can hear the rain from the outside. And we haven't gotten any rain here the past week. So it's actually nice to see. I don't mind the rain at all because, it's like it makes drinking coffee more enjoyable. I do miss my morning walk because I'm not going to be able to do my morning walk. But what I'll do is after the live stream, I'll just do yoga. I have a video that I put on the flat screen here, and then I just follow the video, my yoga videos. All right. Oh, watching the fight. All right. My friend too in Arizona, he said he's going to be doing the pay-per-view thing at his house. I know that's still big in the US, how they have to do the pay-per-view. I haven't checked the pay-per-view here because if I do watch it, I'll probably watch it at the ABL because I'm pretty sure they'll have the fight at it's a sports complex here in Calibo. It's like a full court basketball court, wooden floor. But during Pacquiao fights, they'll set up a big screen. They'll put it on the projector, and the whole. I would say at least 10,000 to 15,000 people will fill the ABL, and it's kind of fun to watch it there because people get crazy. It's like you get a lot of audience participation during the fight. Nice shirt too. Go Air Force. All right, thank you. I got this from my friend Evelyn in Las Vegas. Evelyn, she vacationed here. I actually didn't get to see her because she was supposed to come with my friend Ida. We all use Evelyn, Ida, and Cheng, the three of them. They used to be when I was at Clark Air Base when I was stationed at Clark. I worked in the outpatient medical records, and they were our volunteers. A lot of volunteers before, they would volunteer to work at Clark because they want the experience. A lot of them were still going to college. I think Evelyn at the time was only like 18, 19, and she was still in college in Angeles City. They would come to work, kind of like a OJT, on the job training, kind of like and they would like work in the medical records with us, and that's how I knew them. And then we've become friends, even though I got I ended up some military moved me around. And Evelyn, she had a boyfriend, military Air Force, but they didn't get married. But she made it to Las Vegas because she married an army guy. That's and so when she vacationed. Earlier this year, she brought me this shirt. She actually shipped it to me by DHL when she got here. So that's why I like wearing the shirts because it reminds me of people that give me the shirts. It's not just some shirt that I bought off the rack. It's like it means something to me when I wear the Air Force shirts because it's usually given to me by friends. All right. Aim high, Jimbo. That's Chief right there. That's Chief Jimbo. Chief Master Sergeant, retired, United States Air Force. That is the highest rank in the enlisted when you join the United States Air Force. So when you make Chief Master Sergeant, that is a big deal. Only a few make it to Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force. Hello, how are you doing? All right, all right. Well, that's all right. Tim C, rain is no problem. Yeah, I never have any problem because with rain. Because to me, you know, you've been here, Tim. When it rains, it actually feels good. You know, you get the breeze. You don't need the AC. You can just open your. I mean, I sleep better. You know, because on our second floor, we have like a metal roof, and when the rain hits it, and when I'm laying in bed, it kind of like puts me to sleep. You know, it's kind of like the raindrops on the metal roof. Hello, Ginno. Hey, JP. Hey, thank you again, JP, for the buy me coffee. I really appreciate that, my friend. JP, Daniel, and then my friend Gray. It's all set up. You know, I already reserved the karaoke bar. We're having food even. I've reserved like chicken, ribs, and spaghetti. That was the food that Dessa wanted. She wanted the baby back ribs. She wanted fried chicken because Leanna likes fried chicken, and then they both like spaghetti. So that's gonna be the food, and then we'll have drinks. You know, they have like those glass refrigerator with like San Mig Light, Red Horse, juices, and soda. And we can fit, I think we can fit about up to 15 people, but you know, we invited about, you know, really just close friends that we invited. And we'll invite, we save room for James and Karen because we're gonna see them anyway this Sunday when we go to Karen's birthday at Balete. So, you know, they're always invited anyway. We always invite them. I'll wait till I see them. You know, James and Karen, they stay busy. I know, you know, I don't, you know, it's like with their channel and all that. So we're kind of like, we like being friends with people, but we don't like putting pressure. You know, even here, you know, it's like we try to limit like who we're friends with, because here in the Philippines, one thing you'll know is like if you get invited to a party here, and then let's say neighbor party, and you attend, and then the next time another neighbor has a party and you don't attend, sometimes it becomes an issue because like they'll say, oh, how come they went to that party and they didn't come to my party? And to me, I just try to avoid, you know, stuff like that. You know, I like friendships that don't have any pressure. You know, it's like if I see you, we're good friends. I love seeing you. You're like, we're having a good time. But if something comes up, you're doing something else, I'm doing something else. That's the kind of friendships that I like. I don't like friendships that have any kind of pressure to it, because I don't pressure any of my friends. You know, I don't have them like forced to invite me or include me. You know, it's like I just don't roll like that. You know, I like, you know, I guess I'm used to more American style friendships. You know, it's like even the military. You know, my military friends in the U.S., when we see each other, we're like brothers. We're like, hey man, good to see you. You know, it's like, but when we don't see each other, it's cool because we know people are busy. It's a different dynamic here in the Philippines. When you start befriending like Filipino families, you know, and once you start like in a gated community, especially, you know, there's like 300 people living here or right about, you know, in this community. So word travels fast. Like if we invite, if we go to one party and then the other party we didn't get invited, or they invited us but we say we can't make it, we apologize. You know, sometimes you offend people. So it's just something to watch out. You know, so a dynamic that you don't really see in the U.S. You know, in the U.S., if somebody invites me to a party and I go, all right, man, I'll see if I can make it, but I'll RSVP like a week just to make sure if I make it or not. You know, but no big deal if you show up, you show up. If you don't, no big deal. But here, sometimes Filipinos, you know, they're sensitive. That's one thing. That's a good word I'll use. Is Filipinos are very sensitive. You know, it's like if they invite you to a party and you don't come, they feel like, ooh, something must be wrong. He must not like me anymore. You know, the kind of thing. You know, so kind of watch out for that when you become friends with Filipinos. Good morning, brother. Aloha, aloha, fresh aloha. All right. My best friend, he lives in Mililani, Hawaii. Me and him, we always chat on the phone. He just took his sons to Hiroshima. He took his sons to Hiroshima on a vacation. Now he's back in Hawaii. So I'm kind of eager to see how that trip went. He stayed at the Nusano Hotel in Tokyo. My good friend Chief Jimbo, he stayed at the Nusano too. And what's amazing about Nusano, the last time I was at Nusano was in 2003. So that's like, 22 years ago. But when Chief sent me a picture of the room because, he had stayed at Nusano, I said, man, that's exactly the same room I stayed. The furniture, everything, carpet, everything did not change in 22 years. That's kind of funny when I got that picture from Chief. But my friend, he stayed. We all military people always when we go to Tokyo, we always stay at the Nusano because Nusano is like a run by the military, run by U.S. military. So the stay at the hotel is discounted based on your rank, and if I remember, they have a shopette, kind of like a shopette is like a kind of like a 7-Eleven, where you can get American goods at the same prices as you would get at the base exchange or the commissary. So it's nice for us. It's comfortable when we stay at the Nusano. It's not like when you go to Tokyo, if you stay at like a Japanese hotel, a lot of times it's a lot more pricier because they give a discount to us military at this Nusano, and then it's not in English. It's not a lot of products in American products. It's just nice for us. I think it's a good experience. Like most of us, when we go to Tokyo, Nusano is like our go-to place. It's the same when we go to Hawaii. There's another place. My friend also goes to that one when he's in Hawaii. Even though he lives there in Hawaii, when they have like 4th of July fireworks or something, I just can't remember the name real quick, but there's a hotel in Hawaii that's the same as the Nusano in Japan. It's like a U.S. military hotel. It's great for us military because they're all over the world. There's places like this all over the world when you're in the military. Saves you money when you're prior military. Howdy everyone. Ginno, turn around and check out your dog on the stairs. Yeah, Totoy, man, when she's in the stairs, she just like crashes. That's her spot. That's her spot on the corner. He is digging up the stairs. Yeah, he does stuff like that. He like does that. He's all right. That's her spot. It's like that corner is her spot right there. She's an indoor dog. She does not like going outside, especially when it's raining. I have to almost pick her up as heavy as she is. She's like 14 kilos now. I have to like carry her outside for her to pee. She does not like the rain. And what's funny is she was a stray dog. I just adopted her. She was like a dog like running around here in the street. I just felt bad for her. And that was like 2016. So we've had her now for 9 years. But she does not like to be outside. I guess she got traumatized being a street dog. Now she likes being an indoor dog because if it's good weather, I would let Totoy out. She'll go out there and pee, does her business. And the minute she's done, she'll bark at the door like, come get me. I don't want to be out here. She had a lot of trauma from living out in the streets here because when we first moved here, We were house number 6 here at Camellia. Now there's like over 300 homes here, but we were house number 6. So the development, what it was empty, and Toto was just walking around here, a little skinny puppy, you know, and at first I was feeding her. Of course, she stayed by our door here, and I would feed her. And I was waiting for somebody to come get her, but nobody ever can't come get her. And then I walked around the few houses that were here at the time, and nobody wanted her. So I decided to like get her shots, get her vaccinated, because she was really scrawny when we adopted her. But she's been a great dog because she's an awesome watchdog. I mean, like any noise outside, any person walking on our street, she'll bark, you know, and I like that. I like being, you know, she keeps us, and I know she'll protect us. She's very protective of Chloe. When we're walking Chloe or Leanna and I walking both of the dogs, if Totoy sees other dogs, she'll like ready to fight another dog. Leanna and I, we always have to like, we're always on the lookout for other dogs because we always steer away from other dogs because Totoy doesn't like them. If Totoy's by herself, she's okay, but she's really protective of Chloe for some reason. You know, it's like maybe you know maybe because she's Chloe's 2 years older, but Totoy seems like she's the one protecting because she's bigger, you know, and she doesn't want any other dog playing with Chloe. Happy to see you and the rest of Bonai Posse. All right, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Good AM, Ginno. Hey, Fortune. I found a picture, Fortune. I found a picture of that mansion that you were telling me, man. I looked it up, man. Check it out. I know you recognize that, you know, because I saw a comment on this picture on Facebook, and it was one of your comments. I said, "Oh, that's the house that Fortune was telling me." I love this type of houses. These are like the 1930s kind of house, 1920 kind of house in the Philippines. They have them here in Calibo. They still have these types of houses by the kind of like downtown area of Calibo. There's an area there where they still have those windows, that wooden windows that you slide, and they got like capiz shells on them. I love these old houses. You know, it's like I'm a history buff. I love seeing like how they were able to preserve things, and you know, just imagine that's almost what 1920. You know, that's like 100 years, and then they preserve like the Aklan Museum is a perfect example, man. I'm amazed every time I'm in there. You know, it's like the architecture, the stairways made of wood, the handrails. It's like, it's amazing. If you ever make it to Calibo, don't miss out on Aklan Museum right across the cathedral, because most people hit the cathedral, so might as well hit the museum too. It's not a big museum, but there a lot to see there. They even have like Japanese artifacts there that they dug up, like at Pastrana Park. When they built Pastrana Park, they dug up like samurai swords and stuff like that. Cool stuff. They are definitely worth to visit the Aklan Museum in Pastrana Park in Calibo. Electrolytes are very, yes. I learned it, JP, because you know, when I went through my chemo treatments, you know, my doctors and nurses at Medical City Iloilo, they drilled me on hydration, because chemo like dehydrates you really bad when you go through chemo treatments, and that's why I'm constantly drinking the Vita Cocoa Water, Pocari Sweat. I'm drinking lots of it, just purified water, but I'm always hydrating. It's like I feel it when I feel dehydrated. I learned my lesson the hard way, because after my chemo, it was like July 2023. I thought I was drinking enough. I thought I was having enough fluid intake, but I dehydrated so bad that I passed out, and I ended up in the hospital. You know, so that was a less, you know, I would never get that to that point. I'm always like, if anything, I'm over hydrating now because of that. one trip to the hospital will do the trick. Will do the trick. Skating geezer. All right, my good friend from Ormoc. Ormoc. Good morning from very wet Ormoc. I was gonna say, man, like I said on the weather report I gave, you guys just that's a trajectory. That's a trajectory of like typhoons in the Philippines. It's either Eastern Visayas coming from the Pacific Ocean. It's always Eastern Visayas or Central Luzon, Bicol region, or Cagayan. North Luzon. That's always like the trajectory of all the rain. No appointments or needs. Oh, that's good. That's good. And I'm sure when you live in areas like that, like I said, I'm sure people have adapted. I'm sure people have gotten used to it. Built homes that will stand more rain, and move away from flood areas. It's like, because that would be a hassle every time that if you live in like a flood area. There's a typhoon in northeast of Luzon. Yes, I mentioned that. It's Tropical Depression Crising. It's in the Bicol region right now. Bicol region. Lucita, hey, Lucita, my good friend in Maine. All right. Hey, Ginno, good morning. How's it going? I'm good. I mean, I'm getting over my cold. I've kind of had this cold, but I'm feeling better. I drove Leanna to school this morning, stopped by the 7-Eleven. It's raining today, so it's going to be like just a chill day all day, just relaxing, just enjoying the rain. That's why I got the door open here, the windows open. I'm letting the fresh air come in, the cool breeze from the rain, hearing the rain outside. It's pretty nice. I know probably Mom and Dazzle make lunch today. I'm kind of spoiled now because since Mom moved in, her and Dazzle's always cooking lunch now. Before Mom moved in with us, Dazzle and I would go to the market. We would go to the market and buy stuff at the public market at least 3 times a week to what we would cook for lunch. Would be our lunch and dinner. Or if we're too lazy, we would just get carinderia. But Mom, she likes to cook, so, they're always cooking. Dazzle and Mom, and I'm not complaining. And, I'm happy to eat whatever they're cooking. And it's always a surprise every day. It's like, I love that they surprise me of what they cook. Sergeant, you say, Daniel. Love the Pac-Man. His fight. Oh, I know, man. I mean, what's not to love about Pac-Man? It's like he just smiles a lot. He's fun. You can tell he still loves what he does, and his fights are amazing. I mean, it's a fight. It's not like some boxing. Sometimes, it's like they run around the ring. They don't want to get into a fight. But. Man, he's proud that he always gives a good showing at all his fights. Christian, hello. All right, hello again. All right. Thank you for joining the live stream. Next year, I'm going to be there. All right, JP. I know. Thanks for the pictures that you sent, man. Dazzle loves the fish pictures. She said that, I think that was the bluegill, I think, that looked like a tilapia. And then the tamale, the cooking pot that you had, the tamale, we can find similar. And the cooking pots here, especially, there's cheaper, different sizes, there's a place here called Fus, F-U-S, in Calibo. It's like it's a department store, 4 stories high, and they have a lot of that stuff. A lot of like cooking pots, pans, different sizes, cheap stuff. I also was gonna say, JP, here in the Philippines, and they still cook here like on clay pots. It's like it's surprising, but you'll even go to restaurants. There's a dish here called kare-kare. Kare-kare is like a soup, sauce, usually beef, and they'll have vegetables in there. They'll have bok choy, string beans, eggplant, and the soup base is kind of like a peanut butter sauce. And they always seem to cook it in a clay pot. I guess that's the presentation always. It's like You know it's a good kare-kare when they cook it in a clay pot, and even the lid is all clay. You know, it's like the original kare-kare. A lot of people, and they're making different version now of kare-kare. I know some prefer beef, you know, because they can boil the beef, tenderize the beef. But some people now like to use crispy pork with the kare-kare. But it's a very popular Filipino dish. It it might take someone, you know, a Westerner, might be a little bit, you know, different. But I've seen, you know, Americans and Canadians here that like kare-kare. It's just it's weird how with my foreigner friends here, I notice that it's one person will like it, what like kare-kare, one person won't, or one person will like adobo and one person won't. You know, people I get, you know, people just got different tastes. Oh, it's raining harder now, so let me know if it's affecting the sound if you can't hear me, because I can close the door here. I just like getting the cool breeze, right? And I like hearing the rain. Hi, Gino. Have a good day. All right, Tita Marie. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good morning, Gino from Oracle. All right. Thank you, Oracle. Appreciate that. Jarrell. Good morning. Oh, Singapore. Man, I love Singapore, man. Dazzle and I went to Singapore in 2018, and I've been wanting to go back to Singapore ever since. But Dazzle we almost did this year, but Dazzle didn't want to fly this year, unfortunately. Especially now, Iloilo City's got a direct flight to Singapore now, to Changi Airport. And I was even looking at the airfare, man. I was like, man, I could have hopped on that plane, because the airfare was like 10,000 pesos, $180 round trip from Iloilo City to Singapore, round trip. You know, no stops, one stop, one flight. You know, it's like direct flight. I was like, man, that's so cheap. You know, it's like 360 for Dazzle and I, round trip. You know, we could have been to Singapore this past April. I was like, oh man. And I just love going there. You know, it's like Singapore's got, man, to me, Singapore is like, if you go to Southeast Asia, you're not gonna find a better place than Singapore. Singapore is just so efficient. I love how when you go to Singapore, I remember when Dazzle and I went in 2018, we just got the card at the airport. We landed at the airport and we got this card, and it's the subway card or the tram card. And that's all we needed, the 5 days we were in Singapore. From the airport, we took the, I guess you can call subway, because it goes up. It's weird how their subway is. When subway, I'm thinking, you know, under a tunnel and stuff. But their subway is so cool. It goes under the tunnel, above ground. I mean, it's just like so efficient. And then from the airport, we took the subway, and then we landed in Chinatown. I was like, man, this is awesome. You know, it's like when you get to Chinatown, you know, we stayed at the Cube Hotel. Right across the Cube Hotel was the big building with all the restaurants, kind of like kiosk restaurant. My favorite was like the clay pot chicken. Man, the clay pot chicken was delicious. And then that's where I got Dazzle her military ID, because they have a Sembawang Navy base, Sembawang Navy base in Singapore. First experience for Dazzle to go to the commissary, to the BX, to the Shopet. It was just a fun time for Dazzle, and I wanted to go back. I really wanted to go back this year, but hopefully next year we go back to Singapore. It's just a fun place to visit. You know, so many things to do in Singapore. You know, just walking around, taking pictures. You know. Michael C. Hey, my good friend in Trece Martires. All right, Michael. What's up? Good morning. I'm sure it's raining out there too, Michael. I mean, if it's raining here, usually it's raining on your side, the Philippines. Halikoa, that's it, Lucita. Thank you, Lucita. I was trying to remember. Man, it was in the tip of my tongue, the Halikoa. But, you know, that's where my friend, my best friend that lives in Hawaii, he lives in Milanani. But every 4th of July and every New Year's, he stays overnight at the Halikoa with his kids, because the fireworks at Halikoa is what he watches. But it's so awesome that they have those places, because Hawaii is expensive, Tokyo is expensive. So for somebody on a budget like me, and I can afford a nice hotel, it's like it's always nice that we got those places in different parts of the world. In the service, we are used to long delays in meeting, exercises. Oh yeah. I mean, in the Air Force anyway, I remember it's like hurry up and wait. Everything's like hurry, 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 and then you get there, and it's like you got to sit there for hours waiting. In the Air Force we used to have what we call recall. Recall is like for the medical people, for our recall in the medical. It's important for us. I was in, my last duty, my last job was I was a non-commissioned officer in charge of medical readiness. So one of my job was recall. I was in charge of doing the recall for like over 500 people in the hospital. And recalls, what we do with recalls is like we have a recall roster. Like usually it's the head of the department. Like let's say you work in surgery department, you're the head of surgery. You're the first call that I would make, and I would say, "Sir, we have a recall. Report ASAP." They have to go report to the hospital as soon as possible, because things could happen in a military base. It could be 9/11, perfect example. When 9/11 happened, it's a legit recall. Everybody got recalled to the hospital. We were on alert. So what the recall does is like the top of the guy. I call him. He calls like two, three people. That guy calls 2, 3 people. So everybody has to get to the hospital as soon as possible. And we time it. Like if I start the recall and we never started at a friendly time. We always started like at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., a time when people are sleeping. Because we want to make sure that they're ready. They're always ready. And it work. A recall wouldn't work good if we're supposed to be at work at 7 and you recall them at 6. They're getting ready anyway. You want to catch them when they're sleeping, because you want to catch them when they're not ready, where they're sound asleep. And so that way, and when you get recalled, if you're a mobility means in the military, you can be deployed at any time. You're a deployable asset. It could happen to where you get recalled and you're deploying today. You could be on a plane out of the base this day. That's how important the recall is. So there could be something happen in the Middle East, somewhere in the world where a surgeon is needed, an anesthesiologist is needed, a lab tech, a radiology tech. So my job was making sure my guys were ready. Recall was one of the things to get them ready, and also their mobility bag. That's the bag. It's kind of like the bags you see people carry, the green bag that's got all their stuff, like at least 3 sets of uniforms, underwear, undershirts, socks, gloves, you name it. If they wear glasses, they have to have a couple of pairs of glasses, gas mask glasses. There's a whole list of what they have to have on their mobility bag. And when I recall them, they have to report with that bag, and I have to check it. Usually I'll have people help me check, because 500 people, it's a lot of bags to check. So I designate some people that, hey, you help me check. Here's a checklist, check that bag. And when you get recalled, you get listed like the time you get there, and then the time, what's all in your bag. So that's how I know, man. When they talk about military readiness and things like that, man, United States, we're ready. We're ready for anything. We practice, we drill this stuff. So it's like that's why other countries, they don't really want to mess with the U.S. Man. We have a lot of firepower that we exercise it all the time, and we're ready for anything that comes up in the world. Fortune, yes, that's the one in Molo. I know. Look for the other one in the main road. Okay, I will. I will in MH Del Pilar, beside the hotel. I'll look up Hotel Del Rio, but the one in Molo is the one that I found. I did remember you saying, Fortune, that there's two Two mansions, two mansions. And I'll make a point, if I'm close to the area enough, on our next trip, that will be some of the stops. I would love to like film the mansions. Also visit UC Visayas. I think they turned the old city hall into a museum. There are three plaques there. One is from the National. Oh, nice, nice. I did when we stayed in Iloilo City. I remember we stayed at I think General Luna. I think at the we stayed at the Uptown Place condominiums. And coming out, I did see something there that was part of yeah, University of the Philippines, but it looked like more like high school. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I didn't get to go in, because I was going to treatments at the time, man. It's like my brain was kind of fried, when I was in Iloilo City for those 4 months. Good morning, Ginno. How are you? I'm doing good, my brother. Doing good. Getting back on the groove with the live streams. How's the weather report? I did. I finished the weather report. We got tropical depression creasing in the Bicol region. So central Luzon getting plenty of rain. And here in the Philippines, unfortunately, any rain here always causes flooding. There's just pretty much anywhere you go in the Philippines. It doesn't matter if it's Calibo. It doesn't matter if it's Iloilo City. It doesn't matter if it's Rojas City. Anywhere you go in the Philippines, there's always like low-lying areas. It doesn't matter where you go, there's gonna be areas where it's gonna get flooded. It only will take like 1 hour of rain and this area is flooded. I guess flood prone area. Some people say because the drainage system is not good. Unfortunately, people dump trash on the drainage systems here. So when it rains, it clogs up the drainage. So that's what causes flood in some areas. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I cannot think of a place here in the Philippines that it doesn't flood. I've even heard floods in Baguio City. I'm like, how can that happen? You're up in the mountains. You're kind of like mile high in the mountain, and there's areas in Baguio City that floods because I've seen videos. I'm like, dang, it floods in Baguio. I mean, it really floods anywhere in the Philippines. There isn't no place that I know in the Philippines that it doesn't flood. Much drier here. All right. Had tons of rain last few days. Just watch your expectations video. All right. Iloilo, someone. All right. All right. And I did that video, the expectation video. I think sometimes I just come up with ideas, but to me, I think when I remember I did a video on In-Jap Hotel, and I remember this one comment the guy was saying. He was disappointed with he said he ended up moving to a better hotel in Iloilo City. And I was just thinking, I've stayed many times at the In-Jap Hotel. I'm paying $30 for the In-Jap Hotel. It's got a private parking on the second and third floor. It's got a swimming pool, kind of indoor swimming pool in the fifth floor. A rooftop restaurant that I can go eat there for like $7 if I wanted a buffet breakfast. And I paid $30 to stay there. So I'm thinking, it's got hot water in the room, but he just said he didn't like it. He said it wasn't worth the money he paid. So he ended up going to a hotel, which is an $80 hotel. So I'm thinking, well, it makes sense, man. You went to a better hotel, right? If you stay at the it's the Park Inn. If the Park Inn Hotel, right beside SMO, it's a close hotel to the In-Jap. You're paying $80 to $100. Of course, your room is gonna be better there than the In-Jap. In-Jap for $30 for me, it's like, man, this is like nice for $30. So that's why I did the video, because it's like some people, it's like they come to the Philippines, they think that everything is cheap here. And there are a lot of things here that are cheaper than if you're coming from America. Because I noticed it quickly. It's like when I got here, it's like I notice things fast. I compute things in my head. Oh, that's pretty cheap compared to what I used to pay in the US, But, I'm like, for $30, you're expecting a lot more than what in Jap is offering. I mean, to me, it's like the expectation. I guess because they look at the Philippines. Well, it's third world, it's developing country. They shouldn't charge more. They should charge me this, and I should get this. I should. Like I replied to one comment. It's like people are like wanting to stay at a 5-star hotel here in the Philippines and want to pay Motel 6 money. To me, it just doesn't make sense. That's why, I said lower expectations, because for me, that's what made life better for me here, because like I don't expect a lot because I'm paying less. If I'm expecting a lot, if I'm paying a lot of money, if I'm paying a lot of money for hotel, if I'm paying a lot of money for transportation, if I rented a car, you can rent a car here for $18 a day. It's like, I don't think you can rent $18 a day anymore in the US. I don't know. I haven't been there in 14 years. I couldn't tell you how, I don't know how much renting a car, but I'm pretty sure you can't rent a car for a whole day for $18. And that's how much it costs if you want to rent a car here in Calibo. So, and you can't be like, well, I'm paying $18, but I want a Mercedes Benz. It's like, for $18, you'll get like a sedan, a 4-door sedan, Toyota Corolla or something. But for $18 a day, I'd be happy to pay that, right? But people just got, I guess because they're thinking Philippines is a developing country, I should be paying less for everything and getting better things. But it doesn't always work like that. For me, I like it when I'm pleasantly surprised. Like the first time I stayed at Injap, I was like happy because I was like, dang, man, I paid like 20, I think 28 was like the cheapest I paid for a room there. $28 for a room. It's the queen size bed, and it had a single bed for Leanna. So the three of us were able to stay in one room, and Leanna could go swim in the 5th floor swimming pool, and then there's a rooftop restaurant. I mean, like, I was like, man, this is like a nice, for $28 a night, The city mayor and the councilors. You can see my grandfather, Fortunato. All right, I will look it up, man. I will look it up. I like, my friend Joel is the same. He's a Kimpo. Here in Aklan, Kimpo is like a politician. Like, I think he's one of his relatives is like the vice mayor now of Calibo. You know how it is in the Philippines. The family name, like stays. Like in Boracay, Tirol, the Tirol families. They're all, there's certain families and clans that are known for. Like Ibiernes, I'm sure that's known in Iloilo City. Same in Capiz, Capiz, the Rojas family. In here in Aklan, it seems like it's a Miraflores now, because like the dad was the governor, now the son is the governor. It's like families like rule the politics here in the province. I got my Fortunato. All right, Fortune. I like Fortune. That's a good, cool nickname. Fort or Fortune. Became the third and named after him. Nice, cool, Fortune. Cool deal. No, JP, Dazzle hasn't done any baking because we just haven't had the time, And then I got sick, so she's kind of like we wanted to take baking classes. That's still on our list to do, but we just stay busy, It's like even now, this week, and then we got James and Karen on Sunday. I think we're supposed to Tuesday, I think we're supposed to go fishing again with David and his from Iloilo and his partner, and then Dazzle's birthday, and then I'm helping people get apartment. It's always busy now, It's like it's one of those things we really want to. That's why we bought the oven. It's like I really want to take baking classes because I really, there's some things I want to learn, and that's one of them. I want to learn baking. I want to make my own. My favorite cake of all time is the pineapple upside down cake. I want to be able to bake that myself. That's a goal. That's a goal I want to do. And I want to do it the right way. I want to take lessons. I want to have somebody show me measurements and and mixing and all that. I just don't want to like watch a YouTube video and follow the YouTube video. I mean, we did that during the pandemic, you know. It's like I want to be like, hey, I want to wear a baker's hat, you know. It's like I want to wear like a uniform, you know, while I'm making stuff. I want to feel like it's a legit class, you know. But it's still in our goal to you know, we haven't cooked much on the oven. You know, it's like we cook chicken. I think we cooked chicken and fish. I think they baked fish, but that's the only thing we've cooked so far in the oven. But you know, it's not. It will get used, JP. Don't worry, it will get used. Come back to Singapore and let. All right, all right. Hey man, I'm gonna take your name down, man. I always do this, man, because don't be surprised if you like we get there to Singapore. Hey, Jarell, we're here. All right, all right. Personally, I refuse to cook with any China-made cookware. It's asking for endless health issues. I can't blame you. I can't blame you, man. I can't blame you there, Daniel. You know, it's like too many things coming out of China products. It's like you just hear so many, watch so many videos about them, Facebook. There's just so many things that they do kind of shady. I don't think the health care of people, the health of people is on their top of priority. I think profit is in top of their priority. I do this. I don't buy a lot of stuff anyway, and then a lot of times when we buy gear, it's the local stuff, the local clay pots or the locally made products here in Aklan that we like to support. Hello, said hi, camping. All right. Hey, good morning, James and Karen. Hey, we're scheduled to go to Karen's birthday on Sunday. David and his partner, the people that we met at in Rojas City, they're gonna be in Calibo, and they wanted us to drive with them. They're on motorbikes. They want to follow us because we know where you live and they don't. So we'll do that. And the plan is noontime. We'll be there at your place at noontime. And then he wanted, and his part also wanted to go fishing, but we'll talk about that when we get there. It's not going to be on Dazzle's birthday. Dazzle's birthday is on Thursday, the 24th. We're doing karaoke, and you guys are invited to that, to karaoke in Calibo. It's 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Calibo. And if you guys need a place to stay after the party, we got a place for you. So you don't have to worry about like heading back to Balete if you don't feel like heading back to Balete. We have a place for you guys to stay. So that's the plan so far. Sunday, and then Tuesday fishing, and then Thursday karaoke. Yeah, that's what Dazzle wanted to do for her birthday, is karaoke on Thursday. All right, JP. Hello, JP. Hey, JB from Sydney, Australia. Good morning, JB. Hello, everyone. All right, JB. Balikbayan guy. Good morning, James and Karen. All right. John, what's up, John? It's raining heavily in Balete today. This morning, it's not too bad right now, but it's amazing, James. When I was dropping off Leanne at the school, man, I had to full force on the windshield wiper. I couldn't see, man. It was like pouring. And I was like, man, I gotta get Leanna close to like the entrance, because so we waited. I got her to like the back end of the school, and we waited for the rain to like stop a little. She had a rain gear. She has like a long rain gear, and she had an umbrella. But I didn't want her to get soaked. But we made it. She's in school, so I'll pick her up today at 4. Leanna goes to school from 7:30 a.m. I take her there about 7 is when we leave the house. And then I pick her up at 4. I'm kind of usually with Bumblebee, our tricycle, but when it rains, I pick her up in the car, because both of us will get wet. Bumblebee is not made for the rain, because usually the tricycles here, they built like those like they call it trapal. Trapal is like plastic they attach it to the tricycle so you don't get wet. I don't have that. You know, it's like I like my tricycle like open. You know, it's like even if you notice when I ride my tricycle, I was telling my friend Tim, it's open. You know, it's like most tricycles here got like a windshield in front of them. Or they got a duck down, they got a cover overhead. Mine, I'm wide open. That's why when you see me video, I wear my GoPro on my chest and I can just ride. And like it's like I'm riding a motorbike. There's nothing in front of me. Of course, I gotta watch out, like bugs and stuff like that hitting me in the face. But I just got ride close with my mouth closed because I don't want to like choke on an insect or something like that. But we haven't gotten any rain here, James. Like the almost like a week. That's why it's like it's actually nice that it's made it cool this morning. JP and Balikbayan. All right, Fortune. All right, we have that one in the bank and call it a call tree exercise. All right, call tree exercise. All right, all right. Yeah, we call it recall. Recall is how we call it in the Air Force. We do it usually after calamities to check if all is okay or if someone needs help. Oh, that's great. That's great. And good to know that you know, like I said, my last 4 years in the military, I was medical readiness. I was all about readiness, all about exercises. We practice you know, hospital, there's a lot of things in the hospital that we have to practice. Especially like the biggest one that we practice all the time is mass casualty. Mass casualty is like when there's an event that requires the hospital to respond. Like if there's a big fire and there's like, or if a plane or anything disaster. Even though we're a full hospital, anywhere you're in the you know in the Air Force base, it's still quite a shock when you know when you're bringing in like loads of people to the hospital. You know, you have to practice for that. You know, it's like there has to be like a person at the emergency room or right outside the entrance of the hospital that will do the triage because somebody's got to decide. You know, it's like, well, this guy's gonna take too much assets, or you know, there's certain rules on triage. I mean, it's different triage when it's like wartime. You know, wartime. If you're like really in bad shape, wartime, the priority is to save more than just one person. But it's different in the civilian time because when it's not wartime, then you know you want to save as many people. But it's hard decisions sometimes when you're like the triage person because the hospital might only have 3 or 4 surgeons on staff, and you're bringing in like 12 patients. So somebody's got to decide who goes first, who has priority. And you know that's why triage is like a big thing. You know, it's a big responsibility, whoever's the triage officer. But we practice a lot of stuff like that. During 9/11 we had to do a lot of if I don't know if you remember, during 9/11 there was like the anthrax. People were getting stuff in the mail and they had anthrax in it, and people were like, you know, causing death, you know, from anthrax poison. And so our post office, man, any suspicious package, they like cordon the area. Medical, we always respond. We respond with our decontaminate. We're like full gear, like the things you see in the movies, you know, with the yellow gear and everything. So we practice a lot of that stuff. You know, it's like we practice it with security police, the law enforcement on the base. Usually it's law enforcement, fire department, and medical. The 3 of us kind of always work hand in hand in the base. So I had fun. You know, I had fun. Challenging job. You know, one of the best, probably the hardest job I had. You know, a lot of pressure. But I enjoy it because, you know, but I was proud, you know, because like to go out that way, to have that kind of responsibility, it's a good way for me to, before I retired in the military, that was my last job. Good morning for James, to Balikbayan guy, John, all right. Good AM, James and Karen, all right. JB, hello. the $30 places aren't actually too bad at all. I know, right, James? I did a video, and on that video on lower your expectations, I included the fig tree. The fig tree hotel. Now, on my walk, you saw that on that video. That's not a bad place either. I mean, the only thing I didn't like about it is it's kind of weird because the fig tree doesn't have any windows. It kind of has like some of the rooms have like a curtain, but when you curtain, it's a wall. That's the only kind. It's like I do like having a window. That's why I like the in-jap, because the in-jap you can open the window, you can look out, and it's a nice view depending on the floor. Like this time we stayed on the 17th floor, so we had a nice view of SM, of SNR, Mandurriao. That's the only thing. But Fig Tree, I have stayed at Fig Tree by myself. It's cheaper when you're by yourself over two. It costs more if you're three people. I have stayed at the Fig Tree as cheap as $20 at Fig Tree. And it's a nice bed, hot water. I mean, there's not much in the room. Like if you watch the video, I put the link on the description box of the last video. You'll see the Fig Tree Hotel. It's like basic, really basic. But for like $20, it's like, to me, it's, most of the time when we go to Iloilo City, we're only in the room to sleep, because when you go there, like usually we're there for 4 or 5 days. I mean, we're out and about. You want to go to the Esplanade, you want to go to Molo, you want to go to Haro, you want to go to SM City, you want to go to Festival. There's so many. You run out of time, in Iloilo City to do things. So, staying at like a $80, $100 hotel, for budget wise, it doesn't work for us. But I know there's people that that's not easy money for them. It's like for me, spending 400, $500 on a hotel room for 4 or 5 days. That's kind of expensive. It's like I'm still a retired military on a budget. So I like to keep the budget down. But like James says, man, they got nice. I know they just opened the Hop Inn. I think I caught the end of the video. I filmed Hop Inn, and that's just right around the corner for the Fig Tree. And I know the Hop Inn, they just opened less than a year ago. My friend Ruben, the guy that lives here in Calibo, that live in Calibo now, every time he's in Iloilo City, he likes to stay at the Hop Inn. He said it's a nice budget hotel. 15:30 in San Diego. Oh, 3:30. All right. I like that military time, man. I like that. Do you remember no timeout in boot camp back in the days? Oh, of course. The first time I heard that, man, the first time I heard in boot camp, now they have timeout. I was like, timeout? I wish I had that when I was in boot camp. I just got a flashback. You talking about US. All right. What I remember, like the other day, my friend and I, Steve, he's retired Air Force too. And on the drive to Iloilo, he sat in the front. We were talking about military. What we remember, we were talking about the Lackland laser. Lackland laser is like a flashlight. It's a flashlight, and the head of it is kind of like a fluorescent neon green color. And we called it the Lackland laser because when you turn it on, it kind of looks like the laser from like Star Wars, And we would mess around. Of course, I was 17 when I was in Lackland Air Force Base for basic training for boot camp. So we're, when we get a break from our drill instructors, when we're in like the dormitory, we're in the barracks when our bunks were like goofing around. We're still kids. I'm like 17. Most of the guys there were like 18, 19. We're still like, it was good release for us to like have time to like goof off like that because man, the drill instructors in Lackland, they were relentless. It's like timeout wasn't a thing back when we were because like they want to pressure you. What they're trying to do in basic training during my day anyway, they're trying to break you. They're trying to see if you're gonna cry. They're trying to see if like, they're trying to confuse you. They're trying to like tell you to do push-ups, tell you to like name, who is the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, questions in your head while they're yelling in your ear because they're trying to like confuse you to like for you to panic because they want to break you to that panic stage because they want to see if they can trust you with like $1 million aircraft, if you can be a mechanic in $1 million high pressure job in the Air Force, and if they can trust you with that job, that's the whole point of that, yelling and then they try to like break you down and build you up, break you down to like so that you know how to follow orders. And for me, it worked. I mean, it's like I ended up staying 20 years, and I always followed orders. It's like I never questioned orders of my superiors. It's like they must have trained me right. Injap Hotel has awesome location going for it too. Yeah. And I mean, for me, it's like right across SM City. You're by the walkway there. You can walk to the Esplanade like I did. I walked to the Esplanade. You can walk to SNR. You can walk to Gaisano Mall. I mean, it's just so convenient, so conveniently located. Hello, hello. Good morning, Sir Ginno, watching. All right, Pampanga. All right. You'll have to tell me what part of Pampanga, because I know Pampanga now. I was stationed at Clark Air Base, so I know Angeles City. I know the different Magalang, Pandan, Porac. So I know Pampanga area, and my province is actually Bulacan, and Bulacan and Pampanga kind of rub each other. They have a border that separates it. My family, my grandfather and my grandmother, I visited them 3 years ago. They're buried in San Rafael, Bulacan, and I still have relatives in San Rafael, Bulacan. My Ate Beth, hello Ate Beth, if you're watching. It's like I love my cousins there, because my cousins in Bulacan were my cousins when I lived in the Philippines as a kid, before I went to the United States. My summer vacations, I used to go to Manila. I lived in Manila. I went through Letron College in Intramuros. But my summer vacations was spent in Bulacan, in our province. That was the kind of like, we looked forward to that. It's like, as a kid, I loved that, because like, in the city, I'm like riding a jeepney to go to school. When I get home to Quezon City, it's mostly like subdivision, cement. It's like when I go to the province to my cousins, I get to play with my cousins in the rice field with carabao, with they got chickens, they got ducks. It's a farm. So to me, it was like I just have great memories. That's why when I saw my cousins, and when I visited them 3 years ago, I hadn't seen my cousins since over 30 years. I haven't seen them in over 30 years since I went to San Rafael. And what was amazing is like how quickly we were like, oh, I remember you. And then they would even show me like, there's this kaimito. Kaimito is a star apple tree that we used to like get kaimito from, and it was still there. They showed me the kaimito where my Lola Aning, the sister of my grandma, Lola Aning is what we call her. She passed away unfortunately now too, but at her house was that kaimito tree that I remember as a kid getting kaimito and like eating as a snack, and it was still there. It was just so awesome that visit just brought back a lot of good memories for me. I forgot how much I enjoyed that. I enjoyed those because once I left for the U.S. and then the military, I never really got to live in like a provincial environment again. It's like I lived in Long Beach, California. Then my first assignment was Victorville, California. I got stationed in Korea. I got stationed in the Philippines. I got stationed in San Antonio, Texas, in Louisiana. I never went back. I never went back to like a farm environment. I never got to vacation. So that's why it brought a lot of good memories. That was my only experience where, growing up with my cousins, we would play with frogs. We would play with beetles. We would collect spiders. Those were like great experiences for me back in the 70s. I'm glad I got to experienced that because Dazzle has the same experiences living here in Aklan province, growing up. So we always talk about it. I can relate, when she would say she would collect spiders too, and the little matchbox, it's like matchbox in the Philippines. Are like to light like a fire. It's a small box like you can even buy it at the sari store. And we used to catch spiders and we would like keep it in a matchbox like that, on and then we would fight them. We would get like a stick and we would those like banana cue sticks. We would use those we'll clean it of course, and then we'll put the two spiders and we'll make them fight. Those were the kind of games that we would play when we were kids here in the Philippines. Because we didn't have no Nintendo back then. We had to make stuff. We used to tie like a string to like bugs, beetles, and then like let them fly, and like you're like holding it so they're like flying in the air. Those are the kind of games that we used to play when we were kids. Because like I said, no Nintendo, no cell phone, no computers. None of that. Everything was like whatever you can come up with playing wise. But it was fun. Great memories. Great memories. That guy probably, yes, JB. And I understand that. I understand there's people. I think he was just like, he was kind of blaming me because like he ended up staying in Jap. You said that it was a good hotel, and he said it was a dump. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, for me, and then after that experience, after that video, I'm careful now. I'm careful. When I film rooms now, I always make a point to say, all right, this is a budget hotel. This is for people on a budget. Or if I stay when we stayed at the villa in Boracay, this is for rich people. I did not pay for this room. A rich friend paid for this room. I'm particular now when I say that because I don't want to give a person impression that it's a 5-star hotel at this cost. It's not like that in the Philippines. You get, the Philippines is the same as anywhere else in the world. You get what you pay for. If you're willing to pay a high amount, you're gonna get 5-star treatment. If you're willing to pay on a budget, you're gonna get a Motel 6 type room. That's just the way anywhere in the world it's that way. Basically, MH Del Pilar and Ginno are the same road, just named oh, okay, all right. I figured that when you said MH Del Pilar, I was trying to figure out. I don't recall seeing that street, but I lived on General Luna. Uptown Place condominium was on General Luna, so I'm familiar. I think with your coordinates now, Fortune, I'll be able to find the other another mansion, because I have seen. I mean, even in when we were in Haro, I filmed it. My friend Joel, he was here. He's from Arizona. He was telling me he grew up in Haro, and he was telling me, he was pointing out the houses to me, like in Haro, where the sugarcane plantation mansion, like where the rich sugarcane hacienderos, or the owners, the dons, their mansion in Haro. So I was able to film some of that. It's kind of amazing how when you look, and like my friend was saying, in Haro, Iloilo City, in the 70s when he went to school in Iloilo City, he said he remembers most of Iloilo City as like sugarcane fields. And now I can't find a sugarcane field in Iloilo City. It's all cement and all building now. He said like even back in the airport area and where the airport is now, that was just all sugarcane fields back in the 70s. Hello, Fortune. All right, there's James and Karen. All right. Oh, all right. Almost messed that up. All right, Frederick. All right, Frederick. Hey, Dazzlelanders. What's up? What's up, Frederick? It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood, as someone once said. All right, I have been missing too many videos lately. Still love you guys to pieces. Oh, thank you, Frederick. Hey, the videos are there, man. So, it's easy enough to catch up when you're like, maybe on a rainy day, when you're not doing anything, chilling in your place. I'm glad that you got to meet Mom Marlene, and I know you feel the same way about me. Mom Marlene is she's a retired nurse. She takes good care of me every time I go to Medical City, Iloilo. That lady's like amazing. And my friend Frederick got to meet her. He went to Medical City, Iloilo, met Mom Marlene, and just a sweet lady. I mean, she's a retired nurse in her 70s, but she helps out at the hospital because she's kind of like the corporate knowledge of the hospital. She's been in the hospital like forever, so she knows all the new docs, old docs, all knows the ins and outs of the Medical City Iloilo. That's why when you need anything from Medical Iloilo, if you're looking for a certain type of specialist or whatever, I always like ask Mom Marlene, and she's the one that like my friend, we went there and she was like feeling pain on her foot, so no appointment at all. We just like I just messaged Mom Marlene. I said, Mom Marlene, we're headed there. My friend's having some foot pain, and she's like, okay. She knows which doctor, what time doctor arrives at the hospital. So my friend got seen, in like, I would say an hour and a half. And that's like hard to do in the Philippines, to get a walk-in appointment and be seen in like an hour and a half. That doesn't happen in the Philippines many times. It's good to have connections. That's all I can say. Everything in the Philippines you'll find out when you move here or when you get here. Very important that you network, treat people good. Treat people like have that network built that way. When you need something done, it helps when you know somebody. It's you end up skipping the line. You end up getting ahead of people. It's just like people. You take care of people, they take care of you. It's like that's what I always. I never burn any bridges. Even if I deal with somebody that I didn't have a good experience, I just say, well, I won't say anything bad. It's like that's why you see us, Dazzle and I, when we do restaurants, when we do businesses that we film. I've filmed many places where I didn't get good service or wasn't happy. I'm not gonna put out a video like that because I don't want to damage the people. It's like I don't want to burn it. It's like maybe that was a one-off day for them, or especially a mom and pop business. They're just trying to survive. In the Philippines, I'm not gonna add another video that said, "Oh, this place is horrible, worst food ever." I'm never gonna do that. To me, it's like I just chalk it up. Well, I guess I can't publish that video because it wasn't a good experience. Good life when you have indoor plumbing and electricity. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's still places here. I mean, that's an issue. It's like I know there's still places here that don't have. If you go like to the remote provinces, the real province life where they don't have indoor plumbing and electricity, it's a challenge, man. But many people live like that here still. There's still, here in the province of Aklan, there's places here where people still get water from a well. I know people that they still do that where they live. And there's people that still don't have electricity. They might have one of those solar now, and they'll attach like a light to it, but that's about it. They don't have like sockets and things like that. There's still places here that you'll see that. It's very common in the USA that you're charged 25 tax or fees on every night you stay in a hotel, resorts, and most rooms are well over 100. Yeah, I remember that. Daniel. And even here, it's like I always watch that because Agoda, when I go to Agoda to book a hotel, of course they'll put their 1,200, but they'll hide the hotel and fees, like the 12% of VAT or whatever. So it might say 1,200, but by the time it totals, they'll add another 300. So that happens here too. So I watch out for that. when I say that it costs $30, it's $30 total. That includes everything. When I say on the video, like it's $22 to stay here, that includes everything. That's how much I paid. Is it going to be Filipino time? No, it's not. You know me, man. It's like even the everything I do is not Filipino time. Everything I do is on time. If I say 5 p.m., we'll start the party to 8 p.m. It'll be 5 to 8 p.m. And then we'll try to do the live stream because at the karaoke bar, I'm told by the manager they have Starlink. So that will be awesome if that works. Hopefully, I'm hoping it works because I never want to promise anything and then get there and it's like it doesn't work because that's just how it is here in the Philippines. Stuff doesn't sometimes work as planned. Murphy's law happens here. But we plan on live streaming the birthday party, Dazzle's birthday party. Even though it's 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., that's kind of super early in the morning. At least it'll get recorded, and when you guys wake up during the morning or at lunchtime, or you can watch the replay. You can at least watch the replay. It should be fun. I think it should be fun. Karaoke for me is always fun because I'm pretty lively with a karaoke. It's like I don't have to drink. I don't have to get drunk to like really enjoy karaoke. I just like because I'm not a good singer, but I like to sing. It's like I sing all the time in my car when I'm driving. So to me, karaoke is the same way. It's like it's really not. To me, karaoke is not about the sound of the song or the lyrics. It's not really about the sound. To me, it's all about the attitude. As long as you're having fun, it's like that's what it's all about for me in karaoke. That's why I like doing it. It's like even my friend Gray, he took us karaoke in Boracay. It was Gray, me and Dazzle's younger brother and his girlfriend Kara. 5 of us who went karaoke in Boracay, and Gray was just cracking up because he said, "Man, he said that was the most fun he's ever had because we let loose. We know how to. Dazzle and we know how to have fun." Fortunato's father, Matthias, was an early 1900 city mayor. Fortunato's brother, Vicente, was a 2-term mayor, but now no more. Oh, no more Ibiernes. All right. But you got the history though, man. That's something to be proud of. The history in your family. I'm sure everybody's still proud of that. That's a major accomplishment. And his wife, Mapa, had their own mansion in the downtown. Look for the land bank and the mansion. Don't know. Oh, okay. All right. It's the same thing here, man, in Calibo. We've met some families here. We've got Dazzle and I, Leanna, Mom. We've been invited to their home, like the Pastrana family. Pastrana Park is named after their family. And then they involved in politics here in Calibo. And they got, I think if people remember, a shot there. They have a compound in the middle of Calibo. You wouldn't expect it because Calibo, when you go to Calibo, a lot of houses are like next to each other. It's tight. It's like I said, it's almost a city. But man, the compound where the Pastrana live, it's like they got like 4 mansion type homes in a compound and a lot of space in the middle of Calibo. So I know that property. It's like it's worth a lot of money. Very impressive, the compound where they live. Lucita, I remember those exercises when my husband get recalled and his mobility bag ready and work 12-hour shift. I don't miss it at all. I know, right? To me, man, I remember I was in the military for 20 years. But my last 4 in Japan, where I was the NCOIC of medical readiness. That was the toughest job I ever had in the military. Big responsibility, and just readiness was just a demand, because the commanders in the hospital, we have like a group commander. He's like in charge, like the big boss, and then he had squadron commanders. He had like I think four: dental squadron, medical administrative, and then MDOS, and then aeromedical. So four commanders working under him, and then the big group commander, and then the rest of us. But the four commanders and then the group commander, they're always getting rated on how the whole hospital performs and exercises, mobility processing. The base would rate how the hospital did. We're always, so it was a lot of pressure. It's like I had to make sure all our guys were ready for everything. And then it includes when we practice deployment to the flight line, we have pallets of medical supply to take to the flight line, driving a forklift. We had weapons. Even though we're medical, we're supposed to carry weapons if we get deployed. We have our own M16, our own ammunition. Our officers had their own weapon to bring, sidearm to bring. So a lot of responsibility for my job there. But I enjoyed it. I mean, looking back, at the time, it's like when we had recall and when we had exercises, most people will work 12 hours. Man, I had days when, I'm not going to lie, I worked 24 hours, over 24 hours straight before I can even take a nap, because, I had to make sure everything was going well, because a lot of responsibility fell on me if the hospital didn't do well on the exercises. You didn't want to get into politics, Fortune? All right. Well, Fortune got the name, I'm sure it was, no JB, not qualified. But my brother-in-law, wife's side is. He is current senior. Oh, nice, Fortune. That's cool. All right. It's a waste to stay at expensive if you're going out. We're the same way, James. That's the way I think of it. To me, hotels to me are just a place to sleep. So to me, as long as it's got a bed and a shower, it doesn't even have to have a hot shower. I'm good with cold showers. So, that's why we're able to stay in Boracay. Most people. I know the place that Dazzle and I stay, I know most people will probably say, oh, that's not good enough, but for us, because it's just a place for us to sleep when most of the day when we're in Boracay, we're doing other things. I agree, James and Karen. Planning with a purpose will save you tons. Expensive if you're going out all day. All right, planning. Will be semi-retired in a week and a half. Hey, Michael, I remember you. We used to I remember, Michael. I remember your name. We used to message each other. I know, if I remember, something happened with your plan, but I'm glad that you said in a week you'll be that's awesome. That's awesome, my brother. Hey, and stuff happens. I understand that. People plan, you can do the planning, you can do the preparing, but stuff happens, right? Stuff happens. So it's like if something held you back from going to the Philippines or something held you back from retiring, it's all good. The main thing is you're trying to prepare for retirement or you're trying to prepare for moving here, just in case. If it doesn't happen, at least you're prepared, You remember the Plug Tag 88 air show at Ramstein? Yes, I remember that. I remember that air show. That changed a lot of the way we work in the hospital. After that air show disaster in 88. I was medical at the time, 4 years in the military. I joined in 84. So right after that, every year, every base that I went to, and I'm sure it happened at every single base, we have mass casualty exercises because of that. Because we were prepared for that. That if something happened in an air show, uh, people might not know, might be familiar. Most Air Force bases, I would say all of them, all Air Force bases around the world, every year there's an air show. What the air show, what we do is like the flight line normally at any base, could be Misawa Air Base, could be Yokota Air Base, could be Kadena Air Base, Clark Air Base. When the bases are open, what they do is like one day of the year, it's air show. The base will be open to the public. You know, the base kind of wants to show. They will park all the aircraft, the flight line. Normally, the real important aircraft, of course, they don't want you to touch it. You know, there might be older aircraft where you can board it, like the big C-130, that's common, C-130, C-141. They'll let you get inside, look around, take pictures. But of course, the new fighter jets that cost over $100 million, you know, they cordon that. But you can see it. You can see it. You just can't get in it or touch it. But they'll have all the displays on the flight line, all the different planes. You'll usually have like a parachute team showing the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds is the Air Force demonstration team, or the Blue Angels. Misawa Air Base was one of those bases where it's a joint base between United States Navy and United States Air Force. That's why there's joint air show, Navy and Air Force. But most bases have air shows, and because of the '88 disaster in Ramstein Air Force Base, after that, every year I was in the military, we always had a mass casualty exercise, like a scenario of like an air show disaster. We would like, we call it moulage. Moulage, we would like get like at least 50 people. We'll moulage them. We'll like put injuries on, makeup, everything, burns, whatever. We'll moulage them, 50 people, and we'll just like bring him to the hospital, like all at once. And all our doctors, all our nurses, they have to like triage them, make sure treatment, practice, be ready for a mass casualty. And that's still going on now, even before I retired. And I'm sure they're going to keep doing that because, they always have to be prepared for like a medical disaster. It doesn't have to be an air show. It could be like a bus, like a bus accident outside the base, or, anything, that's why that air show accident there, it changed our lives in the hospital world. I'll remember that. I think every medical personnel in the Air Force remembers that disaster in Ramstein. They break you down, build you up. Yes, HD. They build you up to the way they want you. They want you to follow orders. They don't want you to question orders. They want you to follow orders. Bangko Sentral of the Philippines, like our Fed here, is big on business resiliency. We have those exercises to ensure that business will continue. Oh, nice. That's good to know, Fortune, that they also do a lot of like planning and contingency. That's good to know. I'm big on contingencies. I'm big on exercises, man, because that was one of the biggest jobs I had when I was in the military. I question orders if I believe the one giving the orders is wrong. I will back it up with evidence, or else she'll get in trouble for questioning, disobeying orders. Didn't get in trouble for it. Yeah, for me, I don't remember ever questioning an order, HD. Just, I guess maybe my job, it wasn't that, medical, it's like, it's not like we're, I think I remember you work in a submarine. I know, that you're like, that's more intense. That's more intense, high pressure. I mean, medical, yeah, we have exercises. Yeah, we have like real world events, but I'm not gonna, most of our superiors in medical are doctors, surgeons, doctors, flight medicine guys. I'm not gonna question those guys because, they know more about medicine than I do. So a lot of times, we always just ask, hey doc, what's up? What do you want me to do next? We were kind of like the medical people in the Air Force. We were kind of like treated. We probably had. I would say we probably had the easiest job in the Air Force. I know my Air Force people on the live stream or people in the Air Force. I think they will agree with me. A lot of them, because I used to hear it a lot from my cop friends in the Air Force, or my flight line friends. My friend Albert, he was a crew chief in the Air Force. He always told me, man, you guys in the hospital always had it easy. The guys in the flight line, if you can imagine, flight lines in the military are usually out in the desert or out in the cold, like Misawa, out in the below 0 degree, and they're in the flight line working in parkas and all that, right? And they're maintaining the jet. They're marshaling the jet in 0 degree weather, or 100. It's either heat or it's either cold when you're in the flight line. And here we are in the hospital. That's why the flight line guys always used to give us a hard time in the hospital. We're always in an air-conditioned building. We're always in a heated building. And then when we deploy, it's almost, they make fun of us, hospital guys, when we deploy. Like if we go to Iraq or Saudi Arabia, anywhere we deploy, we bring in our gear, our tents. Our tents have air condition. Our tents have heaters. I know that freaks out a lot of people. They're like, what? This Air Force guys are spoiled. But that's just the way it is, because I guess the Air Force, they always take good care of our doctors and our nurses. They're spoiled. I know they're spoiled. Our doctors, it's kind of like if you watch MASH, right? On TV, that comedy show, Alan Alda, and back then, that our doctors, think about it. These guys are doctors. It's like, if they get thrown out in the military, it's not going to hurt their feelings. A lot of them are serving the military because the military paid for their education, or they graduated the academy and then they went to medical school. So all that, they owe the Air Force time to pay back, pay back the Air Force, or they got recruited as a doctor. So our doctors and nurses, sometimes they get make fun of, because a lot of them, they come into the Air Force, like our docs, they come into the Air Force like a captain, And when you say captain in the military, you're thinking, well, he went through second lieutenant already, first lieutenant, captain. By captain, usually like a captain in the Army or a captain in the Marine Corps, a lot of responsibility, a lot of know-how in the military. Man, we got captains in the Air Force, like docs, that they basically was a doctor one day, go to a school in Texas for 30 days, and they come into the Air Force as a captain. Sometimes they even come in as a major, because the Air Force really wants to get them. The Air Force really needs them. Like surgeons and anesthesiologists. The Air Force has a hard time recruiting those people because they make so much money in the civilian world. Because if you can imagine, if you're a surgeon in the outside world, you're making a ton of money. So there's really not, it's so hard for military to recruit you to become an officer. That's why surgeons, I've seen surgeons come into the military and the first rank they hold is major. I mean, that's so your expectation, of course, when you see a captain or major bars, you're like, oh, this guy's been around, got a lot of experience in the military. Till you find out they've only been in the military for 30 days, That's why they always treat us I hear the chair force. I hear that from outside, I hear that from Navy guys. I hear that from Army guys. I used to be called chair force because we sit behind the desk. But I also hear it from fellow Air Force people, how man, you guys in the hospital, man, and then of course, a lot of people on the base, like the cops, a lot of the flight line people, services people, even the MPF, the people that are HR, the base HR, accounting, a lot of them are jealous of the hospital people because like we have the most women in the military. I mean, when you go to a hospital, if you get assigned to the hospital, compared to somebody that works in the flight line, it's almost like 50% women and men. So it's more like a normal work environment. If you go to the flight line, you work in the flight line, I would say about 90% of the people that work in the flight line is men. Very few women are like crew chiefs, like mechanics or pilots. I mean, it's improved, but when back in the 80s, when I joined the military, there was not a lot of women in the United States Air Force. Most of the women were in hospital because a lot of women that joined, they want to work as a nurse. They want to be a pharmacy technician. They want to be x-ray technician, lab technician. We just had more women in the hospital. That's why, my friends that were outside the hospital, they used to give me a hard time. Like, man, you guys got it so easy in the hospital. I always know triage. Oh, Fortune, all right. My wife, nice, all right. So we're talking the same language there, Fortune. That's all right. I like hearing that, man. You're a ER physician, Asian Hospital Alabang, all right. And they do triage to classify patients, all right. She prefers to get critical patient, car accident, gunshot. Hey, awesome, man. Right? They got to do that. Emergency room, especially, they're constantly doing triage in emergency because like limited resource. And if you got like a car accident, multiple casualties, gunshot wound, doctors got a big responsibility, man. And it's different in the civilian. I saw it because I worked risk management at Corondalet Health Network in Tucson, Arizona. It's different in the military because in the military, the chances of malpractice is not high. For one, in the military, the active duty person, I never heard of an active duty person being able to sue the hospital. Maybe I'm wrong, but because pretty much when you're active duty military, you're property of the U.S. government. It's not in your benefit to like sue the hospital. Whereas in the civilian world, when I worked at risk management in Tucson, Arizona, everybody sues. Even the triage doc in the emergency room, you can get sued because you decided to treat a patient ahead of me or ahead of lawsuits and claims against the hospital. When I worked at risk management at Corondalet Health, it was insane. It's like some of the things I see. I think it's a lot of it. I know a lot of it's there was really no personal or health damage to people, but a lot of it's a money grab because you get a lawyer's ear. Oh, we can get you money. We can get and a lot of times the hospitals are forced to settle. That's why medical care in the U.S. is so expensive because the insurance cost is astronomical. A doctor in the U.S. has to carry $1 million malpractice insurance to cover himself. So it's just crazy how much medical costs in the U.S. is because of insurance. If you let the person in charge give wrong orders, that will cause more issues. You don't set people up for failure unless you don't like the person in charge. It's called malicious compliance. Yeah, I've heard those terms, HD. But maybe I guess my generation, it's like I joined the military in the 80s. I know it's a different military now. I retired in 2004, so I've been out of the military in 21 years. I know they have a lot of new terms, like timeout, timeout of boot camp. I know they have a lot, things that, and I understand because, it's a different time. It's a different era. But for me, I just don't remember myself being put in a position where when a superior officer tells me to do something or I'm ordered to do something that I have to like think about it. It's like I always just follow orders because to me it was like it's the simplest thing. It's like he's the guy in charge. I'll follow. As long as it's not causing any harm to anybody. It's like I never got put in a situation where I had to question an order from my superiors. Follow the orders even when it's wrong. Adhere to the orders until it fails. Malicious compliance. Yeah, that's a new term for me, actually. I haven't heard that, malicious compliance. That's one of those new terminologies that's after my time, HD. I did not learn that term when I was in the military. There will always be people who will not be happy, no matter what. That's so true, JP. I learned that. I learned that a lot from my doing our YouTube channel, because there's people that I've helped before that, looking back, it's like I know, that I probably could have used my time used somewhere else. It's like, so I'm careful now. It's like my friend Gray tell me about that, because he always tells me, there's a point where you're too helpful, you're too you want to do good to everybody, but there are people that don't deserve it. That's how Gray put it to me. So I'm careful now. It's like because for some reason there's people that think because I do YouTube that I work for them. I never ask for money, I never charge anybody for my help, but I get more people that are like my friend from Pennsylvania that I just helped find a condo in Iloilo, that I can tell he's genuine, he's a good guy, he's like so appreciative, so thankful that I helped him. And that means a lot to me. But there's been a handful that after everything was said and done, they weren't happy with the help I gave, and then I'd never hear from them, and I just never felt like the gratitude. And it's not expecting gratitude, but you would think, it's like a simple thank you, or a say, hey man, I appreciate what you did for me, brother, But I do get sometimes where, the minute they get what they need from you, they're gone, which is fine. I understand. I don't expect anything in return when I help people. But I've learned my lesson too, because like my friend Gray tells me, I have to balance my time. I have to make sure that help the people that are deserving. That's the other thing that he said. There's just some people that don't, I don't know what it is, but there's people that give that vibe that they didn't appreciate it. What you did for them. Victorville is a small city going to Vegas. Yeah, that was my first assignment, George Air Force Base in Victorville. I was a young 17-year-old Airman Basic, E1, the lowest rank in the military when I got to George Air Force Base. 35th Medical Group. So 35th Fighter Wing, and then 35th Medical Group. The Wild Weasel. Our airplanes were the F4s when I got to George Air Force Base. Loud. Some of the loudest aircraft I've ever been around in my life. The F4 were so loud when they landed on the flight line, and when they took off from the flight line, the whole base would be shaking. Our dormitory would be shaking. You got used to that, We call it the sound of freedom, so we call the F4s. That shake, that sound of like a jet flying off the runway, man. That's the sound of freedom, baby. Always see the small. Yeah. I remember going to Vegas, heading to Vegas. Climbing up to the Cajon Pass, like going up from San Bernardino area, Ontario, California area. You have to go through the Cajon Pass. It's like uphill going up to the high desert. Victorville was in the high desert, and when you get up there, you have to have a pretty good car to get up to the Cajon Pass. If you have a small economy car, you might struggle a little bit going up the Cajon Pass. I remember. Haro is where the really rich hacienderos live, like the Lopezes, Ledesmas, Montenola, Consings, Usay. Yes, yeah, that's what my friend Joel told me. That's like the mansions around the Haro Plaza. They still have like I mean like a ruin now, but you can tell like the old mansions. I got to see it. I got to see it in Haro. The mansions of the hacienderos. Thanks, JB. He is the right hand of Secretary Remula since 2010, but just, oh, nice, nice. The heart of our home. I like karaoke too because it brings people together. No matter how they sing, you can really feel everyone's energy and the happy emotions all around. Hi, Gino from Oceanside, California. Oh man, Oceanside. That's like one of the best beaches that I've been in California. Oceanside is just awesome. I have good memories of Oceanside. JB Manalang, Fortune, my wife is from Bacolod and they have sugarcane farm, sugarcane capital. Oh, nice. I didn't know, JB, that your wife is from Bacolod. That's all I know. We've gone to Bacolod a few times. I like going to Bacolod. I like going, it's a short trip from Iloilo City. You can take the fast craft from Iloilo City. We took that, I think, January. We took our friend from Atlanta. We rode with him. He wanted to look around at houses in Bacolod. I think 2 hours on the fast craft from Iloilo City for the port in Iloilo City to Bredco Port in Bacolod. I like Bacolod. I always just prefer Iloilo City instead of Bacolod City. I know they're building more condos and stuff at Bacolod City. Iloilo City is just planned better. I've driven in Bacolod City before because when we took our car from Dumangas, Iloilo, and we ferried it over to Bredco, and then we drove to Dumaguete. And that's one thing I noticed driving around in Bacolod. Tricky, more traffic, and then maybe it's just because of the geography also of how Bacolod City is built. Just a lot of small streets, a lot of small streets. It's easier to get around Iloilo City, less traffic. Bacolod, I found it a little bit more challenging to drive in Bacolod City. Alejandro Ortiz, air show coming October, Miramar, Marine Base. Oh, nice, nice. Blue Angels, probably. The Blue Angels will be there for sure. Bizwax, good morning. How is it going? I was an OR specialist, stage. Oh, nice. I have OR guy. My friend Randy, he just visited me in Boracay. We hanged out a few months ago. He was OR tech. So is our other friend. They're one good friends. They live in Randy lives in Seattle, and then Bend, Oregon is where our other friend that was an OR specialist lives. Oh, I know all about OR techs. They've had good careers, after the Air Force. Like I know Randy, he got out as an OR tech after 4 years, and he's worked at hospitals in Seattle as an OR tech. A humbling experience. I bet, Bizwax. And I'm sure you can relate, to like what I mentioned about, your new surgeons coming into the Air Force. They're like coming in as coming in as a captain and a major. Unlike other military, usually you start at a low rank. You start at like second lieutenant. But in the Air Force, we get so many officers that's only joined the Air Force like 30 days and they're already a captain. Usually our doctors, surgeons, and dentists too. We get dentists that when they join them, I've never seen a dentist come in as like a second lieutenant or first lieutenant. They come in as a captain. I don't know now, maybe they changed, but it's just hard to recruit them. When you recruit dentists, doctors, surgeons, anesthesiologists to come into the Air Force and have a salary of like a second lieutenant, you got to up the salary to like a captain, to a major. That way they would be interested to join, because the military needs them. It's like it's a lot different. It's like being a surgeon or being a doctor, an ER doctor in the civilian world than in the military. There's a big difference. It's like especially, the experience that our doctors earn, when they go to like units in Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia. There's nothing that can prepare you for that. There's nothing in the civilian world that can compare to that. It's like, getting casualties all the time with people who've gotten blown up or shot, or maybe shot in the inner city in the US because gunshot wound, but nothing like military injuries, man. Military injuries, I've seen some because my time in the medical field, I'm administrative, but I've seen enough. It's like the casualties that military gets when it's like in a war situation, man. It's like you can't be like what's that? It takes a lot. There's things that you see, that I've seen that I remember still to this day. That smells, like burning skin, things like, or people that get amputated, things, there's some stuff, or like that I've never seen again after I got out of the military. There's just like stuff that you see in a military medical environment that I never saw when I worked 7 years in the civilian world in Tucson, Arizona. And I know it's the same with docs, surgeons. The experience that they earn in the military, that they learn things. Makes them better doctors, makes them better surgeons when they get out of the military. Life is all about choices. You chose your Air Force career wisely. LOL. Thank you, Alan. Hey, actually, I lucked up, man, Alan. I didn't even pick my job in the military. When I came into the military in 1984, February 1984 was my basic training in the Air Force. I came in, I was not a United States citizen. That was part of the reason I joined at 17 was my recruiter told me if I joined the Air Force, I would get my United States citizenship. So I was like, that was important to me. I wanted to become a United States citizen. And when I joined, I came in, it was called at the time, Open General. I signed my name. My mother actually had to co-sign because I was 17. I wasn't old enough to join by myself. 18 was the legal age. I was 17, so my mom had to co-sign my enlistment papers. And I came in as an open general. And what that meant was I was willing to take any job in the military. Most people now, when they join the military, they have a planned career. They're like, oh, I want to work at the hospital. I want to be like a police. I want to be law enforcement. They have a choice. I did not have a choice. I came in open general because when I came in, I did not have a security clearance. My security clearance when I joined the military, it was called favorable because I wasn't a citizen. Only United States citizens can get a secret clearance or above. So I did not get my secret clearance until 2.5 years in the military when I got my United States citizenship. I remember when we would have like classified briefings like at the hospital, or we had commander's call where it would be in a theater and all the members of the hospital were there and they would like announce, okay, we're gonna have a classified briefing. Everyone that doesn't have classified, secret clearance or above, you need to get out. And I was one of them. And luckily I wasn't not the only one. I would stand up and I had to leave. I couldn't see anything secret, classified, or anything like that my first 2.5 years in the military. It's funny how I started like that, and then I ended up, with like a very high clearance at the end of my career, so because, I was medical readiness. I was looking at all kinds of classified stuff by the time before I retired from the military. But I did not pick my job, man. The Air Force picked the job for me. I came out of basic training and they said, your hospital. I said, all right. I was happy. I was like, I didn't even care what the job they gave me. I was just happy that got into the military, and then I was happy that it was the Air Force. Many people were telling me, oh, you're joining a good branch of the military, easier branch of the military. And they weren't lying. When my 20 years in the Air Force, everybody I talked to, Navy friends, Army friends, Marine Corps friends, I can tell the Air Force, this is the easiest military service there is. We're spoiled in the Air Force. Even my friends, I remember my Army friends, Navy friends, because there's a lot of Navy people and Filipinos in the Navy. So I have friends. And they would always tell me they were so jealous of our like dining hall. We call it dining hall. It's like, when our dining hall where we ate in the military, in the Air Force, we got salad bar. We got like burgers ordered to cook. We have omelets ordered to cook. It's like the guys that were in the Army and the Navy, they're like, man, they just throw slop on our tray, like I said, we were spoiled. We were spoiled in it. We even have, I remember in the Air Force, we even have like a birthday meal. Every year on your birthday, I was born August 1st. So in the Air Force, the month of August, the commanders of the base, the different hospital commander, fighter wing commander, security police commander, they would go to the dining hall and they would serve us. And they would serve us like steak and lobsters. It was a special meal on our birthday because a lot of us were single, living in the dorms. It's like we weren't getting like home cooking. We got dining hall cooking. But the commanders of the different squadrons would serve us. Would serve us. We would be sitting down on a table and they'll come around. Here's your steak. How do you want you cook your steak? I mean, these are like colonels. These are like high level Air Force people. So, like I said, they treated us well. They treated us well in the Air Force. I've heard that the Air Force has better way of treating each other compared to the other branch. Oh, perfect timing. Perfect timing there, Heart of Home. I was just mentioning how the Air Force really treated us well. They did. I mean, I lucked out. I lucked out of all the services, that I landed in the Air Force. And it wasn't common. I remember when I joined the Air Force in 1984, there was not many Filipinos in the Air Force. The hospitals, like when I got to Victorville, California, George Air Force Base, at that hospital, I think there was 2 of us that were Filipino. And maybe, I think there was one nurse that was a Filipino. In the whole hospital, there wasn't many Air Force Filipinos in the Air Force. Most Filipinos that I know back in the 80s, my friends in high school, most of them joined the Navy. Because the Navy at the time here at Subic Bay in the Philippines, they used to recruit Filipinos here in the Philippines to join the Navy. They don't have to be United States citizen. They would recruit them out at Subic Bay at the United States Naval Base in Subic. So that's why there was a lot of Filipinos in the Navy. The Air Force base at Clark, they weren't recruiting Air Force local Filipinos to become United States Air Force people. Ginno, I work with the OR nurses. Same with U.S. Army. They come in. Oh, all right. See, so I'm glad. Thank you, Bizwax. Thank you. Because that's not common, right? For somebody joining the military and you're already a major or a captain. Usually you're a second lieutenant. But medical people are treated differently. because it's hard to recruit them, hard to recruit them. True, I was not in conventional military. The weight on your proficiency and level of knowledge counted more than rank. I still question doctors, especially when they miss key info. They appreciate it. The heart of our home. There's nothing wrong with asking for a formal order, especially when you know they didn't follow the right process and are now trying to shift the responsibility onto you. Yeah, like I said, it's like I just never felt that, I guess we were lucky too in the hospital environment, Most of our docs, like I said, they were a lot of the doctors I work with, because they're the ones that are superiors, They start out as docs or surgeons, but they become the colonels. They become like the general. They become like the big boss. But a lot of them, I just find like from observing other officers in the United States Air Force, our doctors that are officers and dentists that are officers, I think they're just nicer. They're just nicer. It's like they're, I guess because they're more concerned. I mean, they know they're in the military. They understand that they have to follow. They follow the rules. They're still in the Air Force. Even though they're docs, even though they're dentists, but a lot of times they're just more caring people because they're in the medical field. They take care of patients all day. They take care. They're concerned about patients that are retired, that are dependents, that are kids. So a lot of times they're just kinder, and then they don't have the real pressure in the hospital, not like in a flight line. The flight line in the United States Air Force, the sorties. The sorties are the amount of like flight hours that each jet gets there. The fighter jets, they have the amount of sorties, amount of hours. Man, that's what the Air Force is all about. And if you're a fighter wing commander, the sorties, the number of like downtime or downtime of a fighter jet, that's high pressure job. Those are the jobs that the colonels on those positions, they get hired and fired, because they are being compared to other squadrons, other Air Force bases, it's a big deal. Hospital officers, they like I said, hospital and maybe the people that's been work in a hospital, they notice like the OR tech that the hospital officers, they're just more relaxed. They don't have the pressure. That's probably a good word. Like, because their job is not pressure-wise as far as the military. Like, if you're like a squadron commander of like the law enforcement of the base, you can imagine what kind of pressure you got. You're in charge of defending the whole base. Security at the gate, checks, making sure no threat gets into the base. And if you're the squadron commander of that squadron, you're in charge of all the security police or law enforcement inside the base. That's a high pressure job. Any response to like an incident, the cops respond. Fire department would be another high, big responsibility. Medical people, like I said, I guess they're just more relaxed because a lot of them are just buying their time. It's like a lot of our officers in the hospitals, they're just paying the Air Force time, like doing their time, and they're getting out. That's why a lot of times, we give them a hard time, our docs, because doc, you're not supposed to wear it. Like, they'll walk around the hospital in their kind of like MASH. Like MASH is the perfect example. How you see MASH, Alan Alda, he'll be wearing like a lab coat, or have his stethoscope, and he's not wearing the uniform correctly. You see docs like that in the Air Force. LOL, the very first time I went to the Air Force base was to meet a girl. Hee hee, that's funny. We have a lot of women in the Air Force. Like I remember in the 80s, you know, that was the thing when I joined in the 80s. You know, it's like the hospital. You know, a lot of the women in the Air Force base worked in the hospital. Also, medical officers can't be in head of command. You know, if they can command, if they have the star on their sleeve. Yeah, you know, like, you know, I think the highest I've never seen actually. I've never worked for even a brigadier general medical person. The highest rank I've ever, out of my 20 years, I've always worked. The highest rank I saw as far as medical was a full bird colonel. You know, I never saw like usually like the brigadier general, like medical people. Usually they work in headquarters, like command headquarters, like PAC headquarters, PACAF, or headquarters USAFE, United States Air Force Europe. Usually that's where you would see a general. But usually at a military base, anywhere I've worked at, even when I worked at Clark, that's a big medical center, one of the biggest medical centers I worked, 13th Air Force Medical Center. Our commander was Colonel Duffy. You know, it's like, and I'm still friends with Colonel Duffy. I'm friends with him on Facebook. You know, it's so cool that I'm friends with him on Facebook. Hey, Colonel Duffy, you know, it's like, I remember you in the 80s, man. And he's still like the same, you know, cool guy. You know, he's like, he's a friend. You know, like even now I'm sure Colonel Duffy is at least in his 70s, maybe even 80s, and we're friends on Facebook. You know, it's so cool that that we got that. You know, I got relationships like that with some of the docs I worked with in the Air Force. Great. All right, great. Learning the beef topping on fire stove pizza is on the next level in Phnom Penh. All right, Phnom Penh. All right. Someday, maybe I'll get to try that. Gray. Were you a ladies' man back in your day? Daniel, ladies' man. All right. Still not comfortable with putting broccoli on pizza. I don't think I've ever had broccoli on pizza. I've had pineapple, bell pepper. I don't think I've had. I've had spinach. That's popular actually here in the Philippines now. Is pizza with cream sauce and spinach. That's a popular pizza here in the Philippines. Like. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna try to go faster here, man, because 35th Medical Group. Yep, that's where I belong, Gray. 35th. I think I was 35th Medical Group at two bases. I think I was 35th. I gotta look back my records, but I know I was 35th Medical Group in Victorville at George, and then my last base, my first and last base were like the 35th Medical Group, because the squadrons moved because George closed up. It's weird how that fighter squadron, 35th Fighter Wing, ended up at Misawa, my last base. So it's weird how my career started with the 35th Fighter Wing and then it ended with the 35th Fighter Wing. Broccoli on pizza. I know, right? I know, JB, I work with some strange people from time to time. Broccoli on pizza. Someone's Italian ancestors will be turned over the grave. Yeah, HD, that's funny. Oceanside, San Clemente maybe, but Oceanside, how are we related? I blame these millennials for these weird pizza flavors. Actually, I had it at Angel's Pizza in Calibo. That's the first time I've had it. It's like a pizza cream sauce with spinach and mozzarella. Actually, it was pretty good. I was surprised. I'm willing to try anything. I wouldn't mind eating it again because I like spinach. Some things are considered a sacrilege. Broccoli is one of them. I don't know what's worse, broccoli on pizza or pineapple. James, you don't like pineapple on a pizza? Man, I actually have learned that ever since I've been here in the Philippines that, I never used to like pineapple on pizza, but here it's so common, like that ham and cheese and pineapple. That's kind of like a a popular flavor for Filipinos, and they like pineapple on pizza. What about balut? Balut? I don't know about balut, man. I don't think that I'm not a fan of balut. Man. Not a fan at all. JB and HC, I'm here in Cambodia, and a few of my colleagues are into this vegan compound. They brought these toppings, and I start twitching. I start twitching. JB, that's a pizza. I'm not eating. I'm not eating that pizza, Edgar. I think pineapple is a niche topping. Once you try it, you either like it or hate it. Yeah. I never had it. I never had pineapple on pizza until I moved here to the Philippines. But now I like it. You know, it's like I don't mind pineapple on the pizza. Nah, Gino, I tell you secrets all the time. I tell you secrets all the time. An Air Force friend once told me when the Air Force build air bases, they will do the golf courses first. There's probably truth to that. I mean, some of the bases I've been in, man, some of the nicest golf courses I've seen, man. Well, because, you know, you're dealing Air Force. You know, it's like Clark had one of the biggest golf courses I've seen in my career. I know my friend... even at George, I remember, this is George, and we're like out in Victorville, California, in the high desert. I remember we didn't have like an 18-hole golf course. I think we only have a nine golf, but it's usually, like I said, you're probably right, man, because, you know, our officers in the Air Force like to play golf, you know, so. I want to try pizza with fresh from the field pine instead of... Oh yeah, you can have that, man. I think we're out of the pineapple already, but when we went to Iloilo on the way back, JP, we picked up like four pineapples, and we finished all of them. And it was like, I think we paid 40 pesos, about 75 US cents for a whole pineapple. And it was ripe. You know, that's why it's so good. Even in the car, we could smell the pineapple because it was ripe already. I'm still trying to figure out how they cheese on a vegan pizza. On a vegan pizza. I made a mistake of Googling balut. There are things I can't unsee. Yeah. That's easy. Their cheese is made out of glue. Anytime we got steak and seafood meant that we were being deployed. Oh, I know. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense, Daniel. That makes sense. That's funny. That would make sense. They would like, the minute you see steak and lobster in your dining hall, you're in trouble. You're getting deployed. It's a send-off. At least they're giving you good food before you leave, man. That's funny. Yeah, but I remember my birthday meals in the Air Force. Every single year, I got, like when I was active duty, living in the dorms. I remember I always got, on my birthday, I always got steak and lobster. And then on Thanksgiving, the commanders also do a Thanksgiving, a Christmas meals, you know. That was one of the things our commanders used to do for us. Like I said, we got fed well. We got fed well in the Air Force. You know, they treated us well as far as food, you know. I remember because I used to work swing shift too. Our shifts in the hospital, you're either working 7 to 7, 7 a.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m. or 7 graveyard, or you can also work swing shift. Those are the 3 shifts you're working at the hospital, 3 to 11. And I remember because of that, they had midnight chow is what they call it in the Air Force. The dining hall not only serves breakfast at, you know, around 6 a.m. usually, then lunch at noon, and then dinner at 6, but they also served midnight chow. So even there was times where let's say I work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I get off work. If I wake up in the middle of the night at midnight, or if I was hungry or something, I can go to the dining hall and eat whatever I want to eat. And it's what they always serve, like the midnight chow was kind of like a special meal because they serve you like either breakfast or dinner. There's stuff in there. They can make you an omelet, or you can have a pork chop with. I mean, it's just like I said, they fed us well. They fed us well in the Air Force. Gray. I don't know. I have normally seen the do marinara no cheese. Have you prepared a fresh pineapple before? Me, I haven't. I let mom take care of it. I've never really. She knows how to do it. It's like how it got eyes and all that. But Dazzle's mom knows how to do the knife thing. I mean, she's like a pro at it. It's like I don't. I'll mess it up. It'll be the pineapple will be like looking like a jacked up pumpkin. Like when we carve a pumpkin. I was never good at that, so I can imagine if I have to. Prepare a fresh pineapple. I'll mess it up. Tuning in. All right. I may have joined a cult last night. You might have joined a cult, man. What's up? If I stop eating shit, boys, it's that's funny. It's been an honor. Are you suggesting they're Marines? I guess that would work if it's served with grain on the side. Grain. HD, only the ones you can buy in the mainland. I'm sure they are weeks old. You're familiar with taking out the eyes of the pineapple as you're prepping it then. It can take a while to prep. Yeah, I can imagine, maybe next time I'll watch mom how she does it. But she's a pro at it, I'm sure mom's been doing that for years, how to do pineapple here. Like, I'm JP, man. Before I moved to the Philippines, back again to the Philippines, I got my pineapple out of a can. I never bought pineapple that wasn't like in a can already. Now, they're so cheap here. I mean, 75 US cents for a big pineapple here. I'll have to watch a video now. Thanks, JP. I'll have to look at a video now on how they do that. Hello, brother. Just got done. All right, Ray. My good friend Ray from Sacramento. Hey Ray, I just wanted to let you know, the teacher said thank you so much again for the water cooler machine dispenser that you got the kids at Leanna School. I mean, the kids love it, because here in the Philippines, and it's amazing how there's not even, in the school, I don't even really see water fountains. And then even if they do have water fountains, I would be suspect to let my kid drink water from a water faucet here, So that cooler, now the kids have a cold, and then the parents, we all contribute to buy them they deliver water for the dispenser. So the kids always have purified drinking water that's cold. When they fill up their bottles, it's cold water. And man, when it's hot here, man, that's like the kids really appreciate it. So the teacher just wanted me to make sure I thanked you again. Thank you again, brother, for doing that for the kids. Our Lonsdale commander was full bird. Highest U.S. Army doctor I've seen was Brigadier General. Brooke Army. I know in San Antonio, Brooke Army, man. I was stationed in San Antonio, so same thing, man. I never really saw. I never worked for a brigadier general in the Air Force. All of our commanders, even our group commander, was always just a full bird colonel. I don't kiss and tell. We're in Oceanside, Gray. All right. There are different officers, staff officers, specialist officer, LDO, doctors are specialist officers. Luke Skywalker, that was LDO. All right. Oh, there's Dazzle. Hey, babe.
I'm gonna pick.
Oh.
I am going to pick up Liana.
Oh, yeah.
Early.
What's happened? What happened?
Early out.
Early out. I can get her. I can end the live stream, babe. I'll end the live stream. Because it's raining. You don't want to get wet.
I got my
I'll just end the live stream here. Let me just, hey, Mom Janet. I'm just going to end the live stream because they called Dazzle and it's early dismissal for Leanna today. Something's up in school. Usually teachers meetings.
She's already in the gate.
She's already at the gate? All right, let me just go through here, make sure I don't miss anything important. I love the deep fried. All right, Florida, my neighborhood, sugar. Peanut butter. All right, made it. Peanut butter. Travel. Starts Grace here too, babe. Oh, Gray.
Uy.
I love anchovies. All right.
Oh yeah.
Peanut butter.
Anchovies is
Midnight.
delicious
Midnight
here.
break. Yeah, D-list. Midnight. I don't know, right? Peanut
Kuya.
butter. SOS. Best midnight chow. All right.
Midnight.
Grayson. All right. HD. Anchovies. There's a lot of comments, babe. Hold on. I'm trying to get through it. Grayson. All right. Gino, are you ready for the party? Yes, yes. Everything's all set for the party. The food, drinks, cake is the only thing I'll have left to order. There are very well. All right, HD Janet. For a minute, I thought delete. JB, hey Dazzle. All right, they saw you, babe. They saw you. Biswax, man, that's blowing my mind. I don't think I ever Air Force Base that didn't have a golf course. Yeah, all Air Force Bases got a golf course. Like they said, Gray, they built the golf course before they built the flight line.
Go.
Thanks, Gino. We all had fun. All right, thank you so much. Bye, Cliffy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye guys.
Bye. Stay blessed, everyone.